If you look at London on paper, you see a powerhouse. It's the capital of the UK, one of the richest cities on Earth, with an economy worth over $500 billion. If London were its own country, its economy would be the 26th largest in the world, roughly the same size as Norway's. For 2 centuries, it has been a global hub for high-value finance, offering some of the best wages in Europe. But peel back that layer of wealth, and you find a very different, darker reality. In 2023, London councils estimated that 1 in 50 people in the city are homeless. That figure has surged by 50% in just a decade, giving Britain the highest level of homelessness in the developed world. How did we get here? Well, for the last 15 years, real wages, when you actually take home after inflation, have remained flat. People are essentially earning 2008 wages in a 2024 world where the price of everything, especially housing, has skyrocketed. It is no wonder that people are packing their bags at an unprecedented rate. Think about this. A junior professional can move to New York and earn double their London salary, while their cost of living would only be about a third higher. Because of math like that, Britain is losing its young, skilled workers every single year. We see this most painfully in the NHS, which is facing an exodus of doctors and nurses driven by poor pay and burnout. Ironically, while skilled Brits are leaving, migration into the UK is higher than ever. But there's a mismatch. Research suggests those leaving are significantly more skilled than the bulk of those entering. When you offset skilled workers with lower skilled labor, productivity drops, and the quality of goods and services inevitably falls. So why is a wealthy country seeing a mass exodus of talent? Simply put, living standards are collapsing. In fact, this is the #1 reason given by Brits who choose to leave. Here's a shocking stat. If you remove London from the equation, the rest of the UK is statistically poorer than Mississippi, the poorest state in the US. The data shows that the UK's best days might be in the rearview mirror. In 2007, the average UK household was only 8% worse off than peers in northwestern Europe. Today, that gap has widened to a record 20%. At this rate, the average Slovenian household will be wealthier than the average British one by 2024, and Polish families will catch up by the end of the decade. And the pain isn't shared equally. While the top earners in the UK still rank highly globally, the poorest 5% of households are now 20% poorer than their counterparts in Slovenia. It wasn't always like this. Many Brits look back at the 1990s and early 2000s with serious nostalgia. It was the era of cool Britannia, Oasis, the Spice Girls, and a post-Cold War optimism. Economically, it was the Great Moderation, the longest stretch of uninterrupted growth since World War II. The financial sector boomed, credit was easy, and the UK felt rich. But we were hiding structural problems. We shifted heavily to a service-based economy, leaving industrial areas behind. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, it exposed that our economy was over-reliant on finance and had stopped investing in the things that matter. Today, we're left with the hangover, an overstretched NHS, aging infrastructure, and a housing market that has completely failed. If you ask anyone under 40 what the biggest issue is, they will say housing. There aren't enough homes, and the ones that exist are unaffordable. Unless you have a massive income or the bank of mom and dad, buying a first home is nearly impossible. This is a policy failure, decades in the making. We have consistently built fewer homes than other developed countries due to restrictive planning laws. It started with the Right to Buy scheme in the 70s. It allowed tenants to buy public housing, which was great for them, but we never replaced the stock we sold. The social housing sector has shrunk by 25% since then, even as the population grew. Now millions are forced into the private rental market, driving up rents and hitting the poor the hardest. In England, the number of households in temporary accommodation, often damp, moldy, and overcrowded, has more than doubled since 2010 to over 112,000. This has created a massive generational divide. Older people own homes, sometimes two, while the youth are trapped renting, watching asset prices soar while their wages stagnate. The social contract, the idea that you'll be better off than your parents, has been broken. Underpinning all of this is a productivity crisis. Since 2008, our efficiency has flatlined. Why? Because we don't invest. Since 2005, UK companies have invested 20% less than companies in the US, France, or Germany. We're operating with outdated tech and equipment. Nowhere is this clearer than the NHS. It's a national treasure, but it's crumbling. Waiting lists have more than doubled to 7.4 million people. Our survival rates from major diseases like cancer are now lower than most developed nations. Contrary to popular belief, this isn't just about funding cuts. NHS funding is actually 11% higher in real terms than in 2019, and we have more doctors and nurses. The problem is health inflation. An aging population, expensive new tech, and rising drug prices are eating up all the money. We're spending more just to stand still, leaving zero cash to invest in the long-term changes needed to fix the system. We see this inability to build or improve everywhere. Look at HS2, a high-speed rail line proposed in 2009. By the time construction started in 2020, costs ballooned to over $100 billion, only for the project to be largely abandoned in 2023. And yes, Brexit has made things worse by reducing trade with our biggest partner, but Brexit isn't the sole cause of this decline. Many of these problems, housing, productivity, regional inequality, have been festering for decades. The UK prioritized short-term profits and high finance over long-term infrastructure and industry. Now, the bill has come due. Until Britain solves the housing shortage and figures out how to invest in its own future again, the best and brightest will continue to vote with their feet and leave.